Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Moving along with soccer interviews, I have junior forward Morgan Cupo from RBC. Morgan, thank you for joining me today.
No problem.
First question I like to ask, end of last year was very hectic with everything going on. How did you find that adjustment, from being in a classroom one day to the next day, your virtual learning and all that stuff?
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, everyone had to do it, so it wasn't too bad. It was just really different than normal. So,
I know I asked Abby when I interviewed her, but I forgot. How did RBC do it? Were you like you had to wake up in the morning and they just gave you assignments, or did you have to be on like Google Meets and all that stuff at certain times?
yeah, we were like the only school that had like full classes. You had to like be on Zoom the whole time. Yeah.
Oh wow. Um, yeah, so I know like the Freehold School District, it was just you got assignments and you had to get them done at a certain time, and other schools, and it sounded like RBC was a little more strict with
Yes.
classrooms. Um, Now, how did you find, getting your training in, at the early set of COVID when they were really restricting gatherings and stuff like that? How did you find time and how did you adjust, getting your touches in with the soccer ball?
Yeah, it was so different. I mean, I just worked out a lot at home and just went to like Count Basie, which is so close to my house. And it was also nice that my brother also plays soccer, so we just worked out a lot together, and that was pretty much it.
How old's your brother?
He's my twin.
Oh,
Yeah.
twin. Oh, I didn't know. Does he go to RBC too?
He goes to CBA.
CBA. A little better soccer program over there for a sec. Um, we'll get back to that. How old were you when you started playing soccer?
Probably like 6 years old.
Six.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did you start? Like a Red Bank, rec league or
Yeah, we did the rec, and then I pretty much like played on Peninsula. That was where I started. Yeah.
was Peninsula located up? I remember when I used to coach, they were like in the Long Branch area, I think.
Yeah, it's like Oceanport, Long right
Okay,
over there.
so it's still that area. Okay. Yeah, I remember that. So you say you have a twin brother. How are you two very competitive with each other?
So competitive. Yeah. Oh my, all our lives. Yeah.
What position does he play at CBA?
He used to play like midfield, but now he plays forward. So it's like really competitive, everything we do.
So when you outscore him, you make sure you rub it in.
Oh, yes, I do.
Do
He
you have
doesn't like
any
to talk about it because I usually outscore him. So it's like,
um do you have any other siblings?
I have a younger sister too.
Does she play soccer?
Yeah, she plays soccer.
Okay. What how old is she?
She's 12.
12?
Yeah.
Would she be in the RBC uniform in a couple of seasons?
Yes, she will.
Okay. What have your parents have meant to you in your development? Because I know, academy and all the travel and stuff, and it's not cheap anymore. What have they meant to you, as far as, your development and stuff?
Yeah, they've always been really supportive. I mean, always driving me places. I'm so grateful for that. And they both played soccer, so they are very competitive. So that's kind of where I get it. And I feel like I wouldn't be the player I am without them today.
That was going to be my next question, actually, if they played any sports. So, do you, I don't know so much now, but like when you were younger, did you like ask them, questions, how to get better, or, if you thought you had a bad game, ask them what you thought you could do
Yeah,
better?
they always told me when I had a bad game. I never got off easy. But I
So
mean, yeah,
that's good though, because there's so many parents out there that, always think their kid plays a great game when
yes.
they might have a bad game, and kids need to be told the truth. That's why some of the best coaches, you being a PDA, you see it probably.
Mhm.
They got to be honest with you. That's the only way you're going to get better. You can't be thinking, "Oh, I'm playing great every game." So
Yeah.
so so that's good, and especially if they had the background, they actually, they know what they're talking about with soccer and stuff like that. When you were younger, who was a role model? Could be celebrity, could be family, somebody you looked up to.
Definitely Alex Morgan. I loved her. She had the same name as me, so I was like, it's awesome. She scored so many goals, so that was also like fun to watch
Yeah,
her. So I was also playing
yeah.
forward. So yeah.
That's so you are a big fan of the national team. I mean,
Yes, I love
yeah.
everyone on it.
It's funny. I know basketball people are gonna get upset with this, but soccer players, they could tell me everything about the national team. And if I ask when I interview basketball players or talk to basketball players,
Yeah.
um, not as quick with the answers as soccer players, because soccer player always, Megan Rapone, Carly Lloyd, I get Tobin Heath, everybody know. Um, so, so you said you started playing, rec and Peninsula. When did you make the move to PDA North?
Like last year.
Okay.
I was playing on NJX in
Okay.
Homedale and I moved to PDA.
Who was your coach at NJX?
Scott
Okay.
Lala, yeah.
Um, do you remember who your first coach was?
Yeah, this is funny actually because my first coach was Dave Santos and he now coaches my brother at CBA. Yeah.
What do what do you remember that, how did he help your game, do you think?
He was, oh my God, he was such a good coach. He only cared about passing. He didn't even care if we won. He just wanted us to like play good together, make the right passes. All he cared about was like the little details. So that was so important when we were younger because so many coaches just did not care about anything but winning.
Actually, a parent during soccer season told me about him, because that's the story they gave me, was that
Yeah.
he didn't care, when you were younger, didn't care about records, and he just cared about passing, because, in the long term, it's gonna pay off dividends if
Yeah.
so that's good. And who's your PDA North coach again?
Josh. Yeah.
How has he helped your game?
He knows what I'm capable of. He just always wants us to be like the best we can be, and he's a great coach.
I was going to ask this when we start talking about your high school career, but I'll ask now. Frank Lawrence, he had a great coaching career at Brookdale, now at RBC. How has he, helped your game?
I think he just has run such a good program. We all just he holds us all to high standards. Everything he does, it's just awesome. Like everything, yeah.
Yeah, he definitely, he had such a successful career at Brookdale, and he definitely brought that over to, RBC. You guys are always competing for, state titles and sectional titles and short conference titles. So have you played forward your whole career, or, when younger, did you play any other positions?
Yeah, I started out as a center back, which is probably surprising to a lot of people because I'm not good at defending, but then I moved forward, thank God.
We'll move on, to high school and stuff. First, because you go to a private school, you go to RBC. What made, you and your family made you choose a private school?
Just the soccer. I just wanted to be on a competitive team, and RBC was so good at soccer at the time. So
yeah, RBC, they've been so good since I was in high school. So
yeah.
Especially, started the early 2000s when they really took it up. They were good earlier than that, but they really took it up a notch in the early 2000s. Okay. What goals did you set? You go into RBC as a freshman. What goals did you set that you wanted to, not just your freshman year, but you wanted to achieve over 4 years at RBC?
I think I just wanted to win. I wanted everyone to play as a team, and I just wanted to have a good experience overall and just try to break as many records or whatever there is to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the RBC records, but I'm assuming there's quite a bunch of them that are pretty high up there, knowing the talent that they have. But also, I was shocked because some schools, the scoring records were kind of low, but you got added fact that they load up their schedule with the toughest games. So, we're in your weak division where you could beat team 7-0 every game. They're not doing that because they're trying to load up with the top talent where it's only 1 or 2, 2-0, which they say, competition brings out the best. And definitely you saw this past season, Frank did a good job rescheduling games with some of the best teams in the state. So going into your freshman year, what was a goal you had set for your freshman year?
I just kind of wanted to prove myself and just get as much playing time as possible. I think that was just the most important thing to me.
Did you have any nerves, because obviously, you played your freshman year, being with the varsity team as a freshman?
Yeah, I barely remember. I always look back at that and I feel like I wasn't that nervous, which is weird, but I don't think I was ever that nervous. Yeah.
Quick story. I know I told on another soccer interview, but when my sister, she played at St. Rose, she, freshman. The best player on the team, all-state player, passed her the ball, and my sister was like, "What are you doing? I don't want the ball," as a freshman, because I could see, but that's good, and you can kind of see that with you on the field. You really have no fear out there, and don't mind it.
Yeah.
What accomplishments did you have as a freshman?
I scored 13 goals and I started every game. I think, yeah.
I mean, right there, a lot of girls, they say their freshman goal is just to make varsity. That's a big achievement, especially at a team like RBC, which is so loaded with talent up and down
Yeah.
every class. Being able to start a game really, says a lot. Um, how did it, you as a freshman, you make it to the Shore Conference Finals with, it's a common spot for RBC. How was it, how did you feel after the game against Toms River North and, losing your freshman year?
Yeah, I think the experience overall is just so cool because when you're a freshman, you don't really experience anything like that. So like all the seniors were just like wanted this to be their last time and it was just crazy overall. But I think it was just like really sad, but also like I knew we'd be back there, so I wasn't like, "Oh my gosh, we're never going to be here again." So it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, especially your freshman year, you realize, you got another 3 years after that to get back to that spot. And, you guys, we'll talk about when we talk about your sophomore year, but you guys get revenge on Toms River North your following year. One other game I want to talk about your freshman year, Pingree's such a powerhouse. They've been, since, the mid 90s, I think, powerhouse in soccer. What was it? That was the sectional finals, right? Did you lose
Yeah.
to Pingree freshman year? How to feel after losing that game?
I mean, just like we did good leading up and then just get there. I think it was they were just the better team that night. I mean, just helped us focus on the things we need to do better the next year. And I think it was just like helping us grow as a team.
So it was a really good learning experience
Yeah.
coming out as freshman. Now moving to your sophomore year, what goals did you? Oh, I skipped a question actually. Freshman, what seniors did you like? If you had issues or questions about something, what seniors were you able to your freshman year, go to and ask for help?
Definitely Carolyn O'Connor. She was so nice. She drove me to practice and home from practice every day. She just really made me feel part of the team, and it was really nice.
And that goes a lot to say with the culture that Frank set, at
Yeah.
RBC, that that team atmosphere, even off the field and on the field. All right, so now going to your sophomore year, what was you were one of the leading goal scorers in the Shore, your sophomore year. Had it 25 goals, right? You finished with.
Yeah.
How, being a sophomore, that's a pretty big achievement being up there. How did it feel, being one of the top scorers in the Shore? Probably the state. I don't look at state stats, so.
It was really cool. I mean, it's cool to like just be able to make an impact, like no matter what year I was, knowing that like it didn't really matter. It was really lucky that Reagan Powell's was able to come back because she had probably like so many of my assists. So I mean, it was awesome. Yeah.
I'm glad you bring that up because, a lot of times it's the goal scorers, it's like basketball, the point scorers, but,
Yeah.
somebody has to get you the ball. And, Reagan was very good at that, getting you the ball and, putting the ball in a good spot for you. It's good that, the really good forwards recognize that and, no, it's not just them. So I'm glad you brought that up. So how did it feel getting revenge on Toms River North in the Shore Conference Finals your sophomore year and winning the title?
It was awesome. I mean, it was just nice to see how far we've come and like we knew how it felt to lose last year. So I mean, I just think everyone just did not want to have that happen again.
I don't have all your games, but I felt when I was looking, getting my notes prepared for today. RBC had a rough like top competition you played, to get to the
Yeah.
finals. I was at your semifinal game against Middletown South. How did it feel getting revenge on them because they were the only blemish during your regular season?
Yeah, that was such an exciting game. I mean, we knew we were better than them. I just think we didn't really prove it in the regular season, but it was just a matter of like playing well and showing that in the field.
That game went to overtime, right, during the regular season?
Yeah.
I think it did. Okay.
Yeah.
And how did it feel, you were the one, you put both goals into the net, so that had to feel, even better.
Yes, that was awesome.
Yeah, like I said, I was at the game and RBC dominated the possession game, and Middletown South had a very very good defense at the time, but
Yeah.
you were able to crack it, and then you put one in, in the second half to give RBC a cushion. Now again, you guys have a good state run, and you meet Pingree again.
Yep.
They had your number again. I want to, we don't need to touch on that again, but were you disappointed that, no state playoffs your junior season where you could get some revenge on them finally?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Talking about this past season, did you think the season was going to happen?
A lot of people didn't, but I was thought we were gonna have it the whole time. I was so
You were
convinced that we
confident?
were gonna have
Good.
it. Yeah.
That's good. I asked that quite whether it's basketball or soccer. Soccer is 50-50. Basketball, it's more, they didn't because it was indoors, but
Yeah.
soccer, it's shocking that, because there was a lot of events going on before soccer season. You had the Outdoor Good Sports League. I don't know if RBC was I know the RBC boys was in it because I went there a couple times.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of, tournaments were starting to open up for club teams and, basketball AAU was, running. So I was pretty confident that the season was going to happen. I didn't know if they were going to let fans in, which, I
Yeah.
said I was going to show up no matter what, but it's good. And hopefully come fall, for your senior year, full schedule, full state playoffs, and then you could get Pingree on this in the finals again and
Yes,
hopefully hoist that.
definitely.
Um, Big question I always ask, when you're going to your junior year, what was something that you wanted to improve on? Because I know I usually, is going to all these games, whether it's soccer, basketball, I see the biggest improvement in players from their sophomore to their junior year. So what was something that you were looking to improve on from your sophomore year?
I think just becoming like a better player overall. I mean, you're like go from underclassmen to upperclassmen. So I feel like it's really important that you're like become a leader. I think that was really something I focused on. And just like as the seniors graduated, just making sure that the team was working together in the best way possible.
Now, your team, I think you're only four seniors, right, this past season?
Yeah.
And then, you have a pretty strong junior class,
Yeah.
right? Like, so, and a lot of talented, junior, Abby, yourself. What's the goalie's name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's a junior too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's a very good goalie. A couple games I want to bring up. A couple you're probably not going to want to talk about, but the Homedale games. What do you think those games that Homedale had your number? Because you guys had a great season. You had some big wins right before the Homedale game with Bridgewater, Raritan, and DePaul, right? You guys played.
Yeah.
But then you guys played Homedale, and they just had your number that week. What do you think happened those two games?
We just did not play very well. We just definitely could have played better. I don't think we played how we are capable of playing, but I mean, everyone has bad games. So I just think it showed us that we need to work harder. I think it was really good that we had that loss because it just showed us that we need to grow. And that was what was going to happen if we wanted to make it further in our season. So it's good.
Yeah, that's good. And Frank, knowing Frank, he definitely made sure he pointed out everything that had to be improved, and you
Yeah.
girls probably worked hard on that in practice. I was at the second game. I wasn't at I was at the 5-0 game, and to me, it just seemed like to me Homedale wanted it a lot. They were just hustling to every loose ball and
Yeah.
stuff, and Sophia had a great game, and they had a couple fast. That girl Taylor was, she impressed me because that was the first time me seeing her, and get them back next year.
Definitely.
Right? Yeah. So moving to we'll talk about your postseason. So you girls had a great postseason. I don't know what they're calling it. Sectional? Is it a sectional championship?
Yeah.
Sectional. How did it feel? Wasn't a normal sectional, but at least the state was able to do some kind of state playoffs where basketball, they didn't see that. So how did it feel actually being able to compete in a state playoff and then, winning your sectional?
Yeah, I think as you said, like it wasn't normal, but I think it made it feel like it was more normal because not a lot of people were gonna be doing anything past the regular season. So I think that was just like nice to see all of our hard work pay off and just being able to play another game.
I didn't put this in the notes and stuff, but because wasn't it right before that something happened, like in Red Bank, where they were shutting down the sports program right before the playoffs?
Yeah, I think
like like it wasn't soccer, it was football. So
yeah, something was shut down.
So what was going through your head as a player, like thinking, oh, I don't know if the season's going to end up getting finished or?
Yeah, I think the whole season I was just like down what's gonna happen. Gosh, it's just like wanting to get to the game so you're gonna play it because you don't know what's gonna happen. It could be like an hour before and they're like, oh, we're done.
Yeah, I saw that happen. Basketball, football, the one game in football was canceled at halftime because of positive test. How does that? I don't even know how that happens. Like, how do you get a positive test at halftime?
Yeah.
So, Yeah, that's a good, because don't think of that, but that's going through all players' head. Are we playing this week, or are we gonna end up having to sit out two
Yeah.
weeks, or the team that we're playing going to be able to play? Because it's not just RBC you worry about. You got opponents that you have to worry about if they were going to get to the game. So,
Mhm.
but the vaccine, hopefully next season we don't deal with
Yeah,
this. I mean,
hopefully it's totally normal.
I know. I mean, it looks like the spring they're gonna have a normal season with the
Mhm.
whole state playoff run, which is good. Um, Next year, senior year, obviously you want to go out with a big bang. What are some goals you have set for your senior year?
I think that I just really want to win every game we can as possible. Just like work as a team. Everyone who's like not healthy or injured is all back to normal. We're all good. Just want to have a good senior season.
Yeah. Um, yeah, hopefully everyone's healthy just
Yeah.
to start the season. Um, as being a senior, junior, there was only 4 seniors, so you kind of had a leadership role this year as a junior. But as being a senior leader next year, what is something you're hoping to pass down to the underclassmen?
I just want to like show them how important it is to work hard and just do your best. Just like represent RBC in the best way possible. Just yeah.
I like that school spirit.
Yeah.
um, Before we wrap up and talk about your future, you up for some rapid fire questions?
Totally.
Okay. What's your favorite movie?
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Okay. TV show?
Gossip Girl.
Okay. Is it strange that I get a lot of Grey's Anatomy and that's been on for almost
Yes.
what,
Oh my
20
gosh.
years? I can't
That's
believe.
like my second favorite show.
Okay. How about favorite food?
Probably sushi or pasta, stuff like that.
Favorite school subject?
Math.
Math. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite number?
13.
13. Is that your number on the field?
My no, well, RBC is 18,
Yeah.
but
Your club team, 13?
club team is 13. Yeah.
Okay. Funny, my niece was confused. She asked the player what her number was, and she said 5. But I took her to a high school game, and she was wearing 15. My niece was so confused that when you get to high school, you play on 2 teams, and you get 2 different numbers.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Um, Last question for this: what is something you enjoy doing when you're not playing soccer?
Um, Anything outside. I love going for hikes. Like yeah, pretty much anything,
You're the
really.
second soccer interview in a row that said that hikes.
Yeah.
What did I interview? Megan? I interviewed Megan at Middletown. I'm pretty sure she said hikes. I hope I had it right. I know somebody did in one of my last interviews. So talking about future, what are some things you're looking at for colleges, like location, size, that kind of stuff?
I mean, I just really want it to be a competitive soccer school and just like a good school all around. I don't really care that much about like the location.
Okay. Good coaching staff. I'm assuming you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, do you know what you want to do after college? I know that's a tricky question.
I don't know, maybe like something with sports
Or-
or like maybe design or something like that.
Okay. You ever think of getting into coaching and training after
Yeah,
your soccer
definitely.
career is over?
Yeah.
It's funny. I brought that up to another player, and probably during the summer during the interview, and they're like, oh, never thought of that, but probably, probably so.
Yeah.
Um, Last question I like to ask players: what advice would you give your younger self?
Definitely like to be the hardest working player on and off the field. I think that just does so much for you, even if you don't have a lot of skill or anything.
Yeah,
Just helps you.
yeah, and a lot of younger players need to realize you need to put in the hard work at practice, not just
Yeah.
the games, because you get more out of the practices than the games. All right, Morgan, I appreciate you joining me and taking time out. And when's your next club tournament, or
This weekend actually, yeah.
were you down in Maryland this past weekend? Because I know there were some teams down there in Maryland, but
No, we weren't.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just saw some of the PDA teams were
Yeah.
were, were down there. So, all right, I wish you luck this weekend. And where's the tournament at, or the games at?
It's at PDI up north.
Okay, it's up by Rutgers, right up there.
Hmm.
I haven't been up there. And next season, I look forward to seeing you on the field for RBC, and I'll definitely be at a bunch of your games. So, and I wish you luck.
Thank you.
And let's get Pingree back next season.
Definitely.
So, all right, Morgan, thank you very much.
No problem.
Bye.